we have another mastermind group call this evening from the Solid Network. We have a special guest, Richard Walsh, with us today, who is the author of Escape the Owner Prison. He's also a speaker and a blogger, and I'm really excited for you all to meet him and have him kind of educate us on some of the things he's learned with his practices and his development of businesses over the years. We did have a great article on our blog, which you can see at thesolidnetwork.com. It's called Speed Attracts Money. I encourage you all to read that. And I'm going to be taking notes on this conversation. So for those of you who have not joined us live, you can read that blog and also see more about Richard and his site and his book, which I'll include all those in the show notes. So without further ado, I'd like to let Richard step in and take over.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. Really, really great to be here. I just love sharing my message, and I appreciate the opportunity, first and foremost. So my best-selling book is called Escape the Owner Prison, The Contractor's New Way to Scale, Regain Control, and Fast-Track Growth While Loving Life. Great little subtitle there. Put this together just based on my story. I've got about 30 years being in business for myself. First 20 was going along pretty good till about 2009. So if you were around in business since then, you probably experienced, along with most of us, I had a complete collapse and failure in my business for a multitude of reasons, not just a bad economy, though that was the giant final knife, the giant final nail in the coffin that put it all to rest. And it was pretty crushing. At the time, married, 6 small children, 5 years and younger. Pretty crazy. Again, I'm the best at what I did, one of the biggest in the country. I was a water feature installer, artist, steel sculptor, internationally recognized, all that great stuff. And then things just kind of crashed. In one day on a phone call, I remember the day, November 5th of 2008, but my phone started ringing. It was the day after the election that year. And I had about $500,000 lined up already for the spring of work, which is really good for November. And, so I probably would have hit about 4 to 5 million that year, the following year, just on a kind of, and things were already slow, but the phone started ringing and everyone's, well, we're pulling the plug. We're pulling the plug. We can't do it. We got to sit on the money. We're not going to do it. And this was the whole country. Okay. Everyone was terrified. If you guys were, again, in business, remember that time, no one spent a dime. I mean, the wallets closed up so hard. I mean, it was, I went the whole day on the telephone. And I got done. I just looked over at my office manager. I'm like, it's over. It is finished. Okay, we are done. I mean, we were a luxury item. Okay, people didn't have to have a pond in their backyard. Okay, they could wait on that. The goldfish were going to be okay. So it wasn't that big of a deal for them. But my thing started at $10,000. I do ponds for $20,000, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000, customized swimming pools, and it was done. And I was like, wow, what are we going to do? We're already going into the slow season, but then what's going to happen in the spring? So we limped along in 2009, doing a little here, a little there. Again, it was over. Okay, there just was nothing. So by the end of the summer, I pretty much had to pull the plug. I mean, I had to, let go my entire crews, guys who've been with me 10 years, never missed a day of work, phenomenal guys, my office mate, everyone. I just shut it down. I really started to realize for myself was, I worked endless. Okay, I did everything. Okay, I mean, I had an office manager. Finally, I had started making some good changes, but I pretty much had to do everything I felt. So I'd work 16 hours a day, 18 hours a day, whatever it took. I was doing things 6, 7 days a week. Family, this was difficult. Okay, I mean, they didn't see me. What I did realize at this time with the strain, I kind of was home a little bit more. I started to realize that with my children, my wife, especially my kids, I realized, I'm pretty sure they don't care what I drive. They don't care, how big my trucks are. They don't care how many jobs I'm doing. All they want to do is to be with me. They'd all chase me. I run in the door. There was times when they ran down the driveway chasing my truck when I left. I mean, crying. It's kind of sad, but I'm like, I got to go to work. And that was kind of my big epiphany. Like, man, I am doing all this for this fame and glory, and money, and it didn't really even matter because it all disappeared. No one else cared about my fame or glory. My kids still loved it when I came in the door. So to me, I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. I was, truly trapped, like I used the title, I was in a prison. I was shackled to my business. I had to do everything. I couldn't escape. I couldn't take vacations. I made a lot of money, but there it was, just making a lot of money. I had nothing else for life. I had no life balance at all. Loved what I did. I didn't have a problem working. I loved to work, but I started realizing, like, man, if I kept this path going, the only thing my kids are going to learn is business is first. It's above all else. And for me, that would have been an unbelievable sacrifice. So the great blessing that came out of it for me was realizing, like, okay, well, now all that's gone. Now what are you going to do? Well, we literally lost our house. We had to move. We changed states. We did the whole thing. So it was it was pretty traumatic all the way around. But I'm like, well, I got to learn from these mistakes. Okay, we got to get started over again. I don't know what I'm going to do. I didn't want my identity to be in my business anymore. What I wanted a vehicle, because to me, being self-employed, being a business owner is the greatest economic engine in the world. Okay, you can create whatever you want if you have that ability to offer a product or service or whatever the case. So I just had to get back into that. So I had to figure out what I was going to do and move forward. Did that. It was great. I started learning from what I did, put things together, achieved success again, did a couple different businesses, grew them. That was great. And then I'm like, no, the important thing is I just didn't want anyone else to go through this. Okay, how can I help? I've got, now I have 30 years now of experience, both failing and succeeding, which all business owners do. And if you've never failed, you either haven't been in business very long or you're a liar. So we all make mistakes, usually daily. Okay, so with that, I'm like, how can I help other people? So I said, I'm just going to make it my life's work, to like help guys escape the owner prison. So I wrote the book. I knocked that out. Well, this is cool. Gave them all the steps, piece by piece. Here's basically what you do. And now I've created curriculum, and I have programs, and I can bring people in. I can turn their businesses around, and I can show them how to establish, whether they're brand new or they've been in 5 or 10 years. I can start doubling profits and revenues, but really about systematizing, building processes, and showing the importance about that, about laying a real foundation for their business going forward. Because most people, as entrepreneurs, we have strengths and weaknesses. We usually have a wheelhouse. Most guys like me, I'm the trades and service industry. These guys were technicians who became business owners. That's usually the case. Hey, I'm a really good carpenter. I can do better than this guy that I'm working for. I'm going to start my own thing. People like my work. Okay, they start a business. Well, guess what? They're still swinging a hammer 10 years later. All right, and that's not being a business owner. That's being a glorified employee. And you got 4 different hats you're wearing. You're trying to do the admin. You're trying to, make sure your taxes are getting paid quarterly or monthly. All your estimated. You're doing payroll. You're delivering materials to a job site. You're hauling the trash. You're cleaning the toilets in the office. You know what I mean? Doing everything. And again, now no vacations, no money. Your guys make more money than you, at least more consistently, right? So that's the trap. That's the prison that they're in. Now they think they're free. It's kind of that false sense of freedom because they've got their own business and they make their schedule, except their schedule is every hour of every day, including when they're sleeping, they're dreaming about it, so that becomes part of the prison, right? So what I've done now is show, well, this is, how do you get out of it? Whether, again, you're 5 years in or it's your first day, how do you relay a new foundation? Let's say you've been in business 4 years and you're going, but again, you're doing all those things I just said. And now there's no light at the end of the tunnel. So one of the first things I do, of course, is I begin with an exit strategy. All right. So I always encourage this in my book and my programs that people have to start with the end in mind. Right. So if I want to, okay, I'm going to have a business. That's great. I want to make lots of money. That's not very specific. The word lots is not a very mathematical term. Okay. So I always encourage people to get a real number for this kind of stuff. But you pick what's enough, right? How much is enough? Whether that's a dollar amount, time, whatever the case. So that, to me, what I've really honed in is when we spend specific time on an exit strategy, like, okay, I know in 10 years, I'm going to need $50,000 a month in passive income. It has nothing to do with my business, right? So I'm going to create a passive income stream. It's going to be $50,000 a month. In 10 years, I want to build my business so I can sell it for $3.5 million. That'll be my minimum asking price for my business. And that'll get me out. Again, I'll have my passive income. I'll have that sale. I can move on to another business, or I can hit the links or whatever I do. I'm not a retirement guy. I will never retire. I will just move on to the next thing. That's how I function. But whatever your exact plan is, and it's a very detailed plan, how are you going to get this passive income? What kind of investment strategies? You're going to have to pay attention to them. What's the plan on that? Because that then, when you look at that, it drives all your decision-making processes in your business, right? All of a sudden, you just don't buy that piece of equipment because it's a nice piece of equipment, like I used to do. No, it's only 50,000 for a skid steer, track skid steer New Holland. I'm going to buy it. I got the cash. Don't move. Really don't move. Okay, it doesn't help your exit strategy. Okay, you can rent that thing for like $400 a month. You know what I mean? So you don't need to drop the 50 grand on it, right? So you put that money into your exit strategy. So again, it just brings you back to really understanding what your business needs to do from a profit standpoint, right? So we always want to think about it. Well, how am I going to generate this revenue from the business to put into my investment portfolio, whatever that is? How am I going to grow that? Because I have to reach a certain number at a certain time. So again, all your decision making is brought back to that strategy to grow your business, right? So it kind of simplifies it for you, but it also gives you a very direct path. And then one other thing I always bring it back to is discussing with your family. If you're married, you have kids, whatever it is, a mistake that I always made was my wife didn't have a lot of interest in what I did. She wanted to raise kids, have the house, and that's all good. But she wasn't interested. But if they don't understand the path that you're on, because things are going to get bumpy. No matter how good you put everything in place, things are going to be bumpy. You got to have those. They're the only cheerleaders you're going to have. Friends are great when everything's going good. They tend to disappear when things start going pretty bad. Okay, your family's going to be there, but if they understand the path and the goal and the time frames, they can give you the encouragement you need. They're not going to be around every day, but they're going to know that you've got a plan and you're just not flying by the seat of your pants that a lot of entrepreneurs do. We're going to make it happen. I need $5,000. I'll find a way to make $5,000. You know what I mean? We all have done that. We all do it. That's just part of being an entrepreneur. That's kind of part of our makeup. And that's okay. That's a good thing because it can help you fire up that economic engine and make things happen. So so that's one of the many strategies that I have in my programs that really help guys get in tune on what they're doing. It gives them real focus. And I think that's a critical element that, again, as entrepreneurs, I wrote another blog on shiny object syndrome, right? We love the shiny little things. We want to go, oh, I can go make money over here. I can do this, I can do that. We never kind of make the main thing the main thing. We do tend to get distracted on opportunities. Being an entrepreneur, you're an opportunist usually. You see opportunity, you want to fulfill it. You see a problem, you want to solve a problem, you want to benefit from it. That's all good, but it does make a lot of small business guys that I know and I help I'm doing this and this and this, and I'm like, whoa, you've got like 6 different things that aren't even related to each other. Okay, you're not even able to create. They need to all add into the same pot. You can't run 3 different companies, mediocre. You pick one and be awesome at it. And once you've mastered that, the main thing is driving solid and hard and constant income is totally systematic. Then you can look at the next stream of income. So it's a big detractor for a lot of guys in business. I don't know if you guys have seen that stuff in your consultations or people you deal with. I'm sure that it's like a plague. Okay, you guys just, and you're excited to build that business to get going, and then they're just shooting off to another thing and another thing and another thing, and it's you got to rein those guys in. That's kind of what we do on our coaching end and stuff like that. And we keep these guys, keep the reins a little tight, keep them focused, keep them getting better and better at what they do, and it makes a huge difference in the long run. Because there's that great saying, most people overestimate what they can get done in a year, and they underestimate what they can accomplish in 5 years. Most entrepreneurs are looking at that 1 year gap. I'm going to make money. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to knock it out. When they don't in a year, they're bummed out. That's when the shiny object stuff comes. They think they can jump on the next one because it's going to, I can make things faster with that. That's an even better idea, and that's where they tend to fall down. So we really try to, like I said, rein people in and help these guys understand that they have a great idea. If they've done the research, develop their product or their service or whatever it is, how can they be the best at what they do? How can they outdo the entire marketplace? How can they bring the most value, to the marketplace, to their product, to their service, that they can command a market share, no matter what that, no matter how cluttered that market is, how can they stand above it? I mean, obviously there are times when a market may be overcrowded, maybe you just don't want to do it. You don't have enough differentiating positions in your business offerings that are going to separate you from the massive pack, so it might not be a good idea. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and what I do and kind of what the book is about, and how we help people. And again, being trapped in the owner prison, escaping the owner prison, is really about, for me, in a nutshell, what I say is, you want to work on your top 5%. Okay, you want to work on the 5% of the business only you can do. You as the owner. Okay, anyone can clean a toilet, anyone can install a roof, can fix a pipe, okay, can put in ductwork. Anybody can do that. Yes, you may be the greatest on the planet at it. Okay, I'm not taking it away from anybody, but no one else knows or cares. Okay, ductwork is ductwork, a roof is a roof. Okay, I mean, no one's going to see the tiny bit of difference that your expertise, just like me as an artist, I was just that much better at placing stone and doing this, but no one really noticed except me. I let my guys build it, knock the thing out. Homeowners were just as thrilled, just as happy. I was now free. I was free to do something else, like on the business. So if I'm the only guy who understands the marketing and the vision of the business currently, that's where I focus my time. What that top 5% that's going to enable me to grow my business, to market my business and drive that forward, that's what, as an owner, I want to focus on. That's how you grow a business. So again, we create systems, processes, we put the right people in place, we delegate, we bring them in, and then we're able to grow. But if I've got to deliver the materials, get on the job, swing a hammer, do everything else, how are you possibly going to grow? You cannot leverage your time in a situation like that. So that's what we teach.